what was the most significant piece of evidence you think maybe for this jury that ultimately said Mr. Peterson committed these crimes? I mean, what was the most significant piece of evidence for you by this verdict?
For me, it was the apology call. And we didn't actually hear a whole lot about that during the trial because I think prosecutors just kind of figured, why bother? I mean, they played it in the opening, they got it in evidence from somebody within the jail, and then it kind of seemed like it was on the defense to try to explain that away. Because while he never mentions a shooting or a gun in the call, the prosecutor even said in his closing argument that he'd gone over it a few times with his co-counsel, and they just can't figure out what else he could be talking about in this call. And they went through it line by line, focused on how he's asking about how Meg's in the hospital. This is his apology call to Kelsey. And we never really seemed to hear much about that from the defense in trial. Like, they really needed to explain what that call was. And it was kind of just left unopened until prosecutors brought it up again in the closing argument, because there was a lot of focus on Kelsey's recant on the stand and then the testimony from the neighbor, and I think all of that was important, but in the end Torrey himself provided a ton of evidence for this just through his text messages to Meg and then his phone call to Kelsey.